In the last lesson we heard was in Studio 1A. So now you're in Studio 2A, and it's Happy Friday still. So the last video you listened to, we explored how mistakes can be learning opportunities. So have you been thinking about maybe a mistake that you've made, but because of that mistake you learn from it and then you avoid making the same mistake? Maybe, everybody has made mistakes. So today we're going to learn how to identify roadblocks, a roadblock. So we're going to identify roadblocks so we might face as we pursue our goals. Think of a time you had trouble achieving a goal. So write down at least 2 things that got in the way of your goal. So think about that. So something that gets in the way of your goal is called a roadblock. Part of setting and achieving goals involves thinking ahead about the roadblocks you might encounter. To help us figure out how to do this, let me introduce Vera, a teenage superhero in training.
My name's Vera. I'm a new student at the Second Step Academy, a superhero training school, where teams like me can study to reach their full potential. I'm excited, but also a little nervous to be starting here. I think I have a pretty cool ability. Check this out. I can affect the gravitational fields around me, so I can move things, like this lunch tray. I'm still getting used to my abilities. Oops. But my teachers say I have the potential to lift heavy objects, and once I gain better control of my powers, I may even be able to fly. My long-term goal is to join the Academy's elite superhero squad, the Paragons, and go on incredible adventures. To make it onto the team, we have to complete a test to prove we're ready. It's ambitious, but I'm willing to put in the work to achieve it. I don't want to get ahead of myself. After the mess in the cafeteria today, I think I need to focus on my short-term goals before I even consider trying out for the Paragons. It's not going to be easy, and I'll face some roadblocks along the way, but I think I'm ready.
So, in looking at this video, can you think of other superheroes from the movies or right now on television, other superheroes who experience roadblocks as they learn to use their superpowers? Think about some of those. So, to determine the best strategies for responding to different types of roadblocks, we need to be able to distinguish between them. There's internal roadblocks. They are usually easier to overcome than the external roadblocks. A roadblock is something that gets in the way of achieving a goal. There are 2 kinds of roadblocks. Internal roadblock. What would be an example of an internal roadblock? An internal roadblock is something within your control that gets in the way of achieving a goal. Now, an external roadblock would be, this is something in your environment that gets in the way of achieving your goal. Let's go to the activity. So let's help Vera sort these roadblocks. Do you think self-doubt is an internal or external roadblock? Self-doubt. That means when you don't think that you are good enough. Do you think it's internal or is it coming from the outside, external roadblock? So self-doubt. I will put it under internal. So this is an internal roadblock because it's something within Vera's control, not in her environment. She can work to become more confident by practicing. The more she practices, the better she'll get. So now let's look at the other roadblock. No powers allowed at home. Is this an internal roadblock or an external roadblock? So if at home they don't let you, that's outside of you, that means it's external. Let's put no powers are allowed at home. So that's out of her control. Her mom and dad or her guardian, grandma, grandpa, they say no power. So that's an external roadblock. The other, the other roadblock that Vera experienced, other students say she's not good enough. So the other students are telling her she is not good enough. So tell me, what do you think? Is that internal or is it external? So this roadblock that we're looking at right here, other students, that's outside of her, it's not in her, but this one is tricky because since other students say she's not good enough, and it is an external roadblock because it's outside, but it could affect her internally too. So it could be an internal roadblock as well. So we could put this one either internal, because yes, how does it feel when somebody tells you, oh, you're not good enough? That does affect you inside. And that's why it's important for you to know who you are. That way when people on the outside are telling you you're not good enough, I want you to know that you are good enough. And this is not going to affect you internally. This would be just an external roadblock once you don't listen to what other people are saying about you. So let's try identifying the roadblocks in another scenario. Now let's see. So what kind of a roadblock is this? So Vera forgets her training uniform. Is this internal or external? What kind of a roadblock is? So forgetting the training uniform, is it an external or internal roadblock? I would say this is an internal roadblock because this is under her control. Vera can control this. So by her forgetting her training uniform, it's just her forgetting, so it's under her control. It's not like somebody took it. So let's check the boxes if we're correct. Yes, we're correct. Very good. Let's look at the other activity we have. So this is another scenario I will let you know about. So in this scenario, like Vera, Mark has a big goal. He really wants to be a guitarist and play in a well-known band. It's a big dream, and he's been coming up against roadblocks and feels very discouraged. So now let's look at his roadblocks. So if he wants to be a guitarist, so if Mark is not practicing regularly, is this an internal or external roadblock? So his goal is to be a guitarist, but he's not practicing. He's not practicing. So this is an internal. This is an internal roadblock because he's not getting up and doing the work. It's really simple to dream and daydream during the day and say, I want to be a famous guitarist. But then we ask you, what are you doing during the day? And we see that you are on playing video games or on social media for 4 hours. So is that really you reaching your goal? So no. In order to get good at something, you need to practice. So let's see. Not quiet, no quiet place at home to practice. So if at home he doesn't have a quiet place to practice the guitar, is this an internal or external? So this would be an external. External. But it could be kind of internal too, because then he could, if he really wants to be a famous guitarist, then he needs to find a quiet place to practice, even if it's not in his home. So another roadblock. No friends want to join his band. No friends want to join his band. So that's external. External. Because nobody wants to join him. Maybe because he needs to practice a little bit more. And the last one is he can't afford a guitar. Oh, that is an external roadblock. So, if these are his roadblocks, and you had these roadblocks and you really wanted to be a famous guitarist, what are things that you would do? So let's see, I put all these because these are external, but at the same time, there are things that he can do to make some money. Maybe get a job, doing some errands around the house so that he can get an allowance, and find a place that where he can practice, but he still doesn't have a guitar, so this one he can work on. So let's check. Yeah, we got these correct, but some could be internal, external, because maybe we can work towards, achieving our goal. Well, let's see. To wrap it up, think about things that got in the way of you achieving the goal you identified in the warm-up. So I'm pretty sure everybody has a goal, has a dream. What are you doing to achieve a goal? Are you working towards it? And if you're not working towards it, do you think it's an internal roadblock or external roadblock? So these are things to think about. So right now, after you're done listening to this video, you are going to go do the classwork. You're going to click on that link, and I'm going to ask you about your personal roadblocks, and I want you to be able to answer it. I want to know what your roadblocks you're experiencing right now, especially with distance learning. There's a lot of roadblocks, and I really would love to hear what you are experiencing, and I would also love to see how you overcome your roadblocks. So I'm looking forward to reading your classwork.